Welcome back, everybody, to the Visitor Parking Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Vargas. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We made it through one of the most stressful years, one of the hardest years, one of the record-breaking, most confrontational years of our lives. If you are listening here at episode 26, I just want you guys to know how proud of you should feel to make it through what you've been through. The loss, the suffering, the layoffs, the doubt. Man, this has been, I am honestly so thankful for this year, for what it has taught me. I was talking to my real estate agent today, Suzanne, who I absolutely love. She reminds me of my mom. She's thorough. She's good with business. You know, she's just a practical lady. And honestly, we were talking, because I'm thinking about maybe selling our house in the next year or two. And she was telling me, Alex, I remember you were talking about struggling with your business and, how has that been? And I'm like, honestly, this was a hard year. It was the hardest year, that I could think of for everybody. And she was like, honestly, I was talking to a client about you who buys businesses when owners get stressed or they just don't know if they want to do it anymore. And as she's saying this, I'm like, that's not me. And I remember I talked to her a little while ago, and that kind of was me. I was that owner. Like, when I talked to her last time, I'm like, we're in a bad cash position. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm having to make plans on what if this business doesn't work out. I'm calling the bank to find out if we can get an extension on our HELOC. I'm trying to figure out, well, if I need more cash, how soon can I get more cash? Like, worst case scenario this year, what is going to happen to us? Looking back, I saw this in the moment. I was being stretched so thin. My family, everything. My mom was struggling. We were struggling. Everybody was in a tight spot. And looking back, I am so grateful for such a hard year because we came through the other side. It's not over, but it's Thanksgiving. We made it here. We made it here, and we somehow salvaged what was a bad year, and we're having our best quarter. We're having our best quarter. Say it again. We're having our literal best quarter of the year at the end of the year. Why is that? Why did we survive? That's the question. And I am so proud of the people I work with, the people that got us through in a time when nobody was hiring and there were layoffs. We survived. And she's telling me about this guy who buys businesses, and she's like, I brought you up. And he's like, oh, what do you do? And, what does he do? And what does Alex do? And she was telling this guy who buys companies like mine. And he's like, honestly, Suzanne, I have heard from so many people this year who just want out of their business. They're so stressed out. There's uncertainty. I think last year alone was like the number one most year that CEOs were resigning. It was like a record year since 1945. That CEO confidence was at an all-time low. And I talked about it about a year ago when I started this podcast. I remember that episode. And just to think, I wanted to quit when probably everybody wanted to quit. And that's how I knew it's not time to quit. Like that, this was just a hard year. This was a painstakingly hard year. Not to name any names, but I have stopped watching the news because you know what? The news stopped serving me. The news stopped giving me good news. It was always bad. It was always sad. There was always drama, and I just turned it off. At some point, I just had to stop listening to it. But as I'm thinking back to my conversation with Suzanne, I was beyond grateful to, one, recognize the place that we are in now as a family, me and my wife as a unit, like going through these periods where you're like, fuck, Alex, how are we going to pay these bills? What are we going to do? How are we going to live? Okay, we can downsize, but to what point? Okay, that's fine. We got this. Okay, we do this. And, let's say we go down to just 2 employees like we did. Like, how do we get through this? We'll get through it. We'll just do this. Keep selling. We have to hunker down and just work right now. This was the year that tested our mettle. Like I've never felt stronger than I do right now. One, because I stuck with a hobby, which I love, which is this podcast. So thank you guys for listening. You mean the fucking world to me. I'm talking to Suzanne and I'm telling her, we're not in this place anymore. I'm like, I don't feel the way I felt. I'm like, we're profitable. We've been profitable all quarter. I honestly, it's trending up. There's business. Like, it's not that we have too much business, because you can never have too much business. But honestly, it feels like sometimes we just can't miss. And that's what's going on right now. But it all started with this energy shift of like, I had to be done. I had to tap out and say, God, whoever's up there, like, I don't care anymore. Like, what'll be. Like I don't have control anymore. And that was the biggest blessing of this year, was giving that away and saying, look, if we have to downsize, we'll downsize. If we have to sell this house and, live in a smaller house, we can do it. If it means that we have to give up certain expenses, fine, give it up, but not without a fight, not without trying to grow this, and not without trying to sell as hard as I can to make sure that we have something, and my employees fighting back to back to back beside each other. Like, this year was in a lot of ways the worst year, and this year was also the best year, because it showed me that I am enough, that my business is stronger than I thought it was, that my marriage was stronger than I gave it credit for at times, that my kids and my family and my parents and everybody that rallied around each other in this time, like, that was proof enough to me that God exists and that we are all okay and that we're going to get through this. And you know what I came on the other side to think about is, I've got a lot of time. I can help more people. There were certain times where I was so defeated this year, I stopped answering my phone, and I was ashamed to say that, but I would see it ringing and I'm like, I can't deal with this candidate right now. I don't have any hope for myself. How could I have hope for them? But that changed after we've made it through this hardship. And I'm like, I have time for you. I'm going to help you with your resume for free. It's going to actually take me 20 extra minutes a day to talk to this candidate who is down on their luck. They haven't had a job in 6 months. And you know what? I'm going to help you with your resume. Let's pull it up. Okay. Your resume reads like this. You put all your jobs in one category. You're applying for a mid-level position, but you have 20 years of experience. Honey, let's shave some experience off. Like, I need you to take this off your resume, try this, and I want you to go in interviews. Don't talk about this. Tell them you're willing to work on site 5 days a week. And you know what she said to me? This is a real story from today. Alex, you know how many people don't call me back? Do you know how many people don't take the time? But your company, Nausea, Curtis, your employees actually call me back. And even if you don't have good news for me, you keep me informed. You let me know the truth. And I just can't thank you enough for that, because even though I don't have a job, that's meant the world to me. And if you had told me that earlier this year, I would not have given a shit what that person had going on. I was going through so much of my own struggles that it was hard to be thankful enough to like help somebody else. But when I went through this hard time this year, and I'm getting humbled left and right in ways that I'd never been humbled before. I can handle people walking out. I can handle somebody not living up to their expectations, or hiring an employee who's just not a fit for me, or somebody who doesn't want the best for my company or my staff. Like, I can handle that. What I had never had to handle was actual failure, where I'm like, holy shit, we might fail. And what's that? What am I going to have to show for that? And you know what I found out that I had to show? I had a wife who fucking loves me, like the shit out of me. I don't know why sometimes, because I am hard. I'm hard-headed, hard as hell to deal with at times. And I have these two incredible daughters who love me. I've got a mom and dad who care. I've got employees who give a shit. Like, I'm surrounded with blessings, and going through these hard times and realizing that I might lose everything in this administration and the cuts and the layoffs and then coming out the other side of it and seeing my books and my everything be green, couldn't be more thankful. Like, I could not be more thankful for the strength this year has shown for us. I really am. But that's it. I didn't mean to open up so sentimental. Where are we? Thanksgiving week is upon us. I know some of you guys are going out. You're seeing 2 families. You're seeing 3 families. You're making flights that you can't afford. You're booking trips for your kids. You're canceling because you guys are sick. Whatever you're going through, just know that it'll be okay. And just try to enjoy this time off, this time that everybody's going to have off together, because that's fair. And reflect on what you did for the year and get ready for next year. I hope you guys are thankful for your lives, because you only get one, and enjoy it. Really enjoy it. A little quick update in my life. I am 14 days plus off weed. I haven't smoked a bowl, a joint, and over 2 weeks now, I think. And man, thank you, Mom, for the advice. Thank you, my wife, who said, I've been telling you that all along. Why does it take your mother to tell you that to listen? But seriously, this clarity, I love weed. I love smoking joints. I love getting high and just watching movies and laughing my ass off and sitting there like looking at the wall, just looking, just being happy, But I got responsibilities. I got too much drive and ambition to look away from, and I was turning it off for a long time. My work life is better. My wife is happier. My kids are happier. Everybody seems happier. I am happier. I remember, think last Sunday, 2 Sundays ago, I drove past my old house, my first house that I ever bought. And I just started to cry, man. I was listening to All These Years by Sawyer Brown, and I just started to weep. And I was just thinking to myself, you have been so clear-headed these past 2 weeks. What did you do, my friend? What have you been hiding from? For 10 years, you have been drowning in sorrow. They say people don't lie about not being okay. People lie about being okay. And that's what I was doing for the better part of these past 10 years. I was smiling and putting it on and doing my best for everybody. And yeah, they could tell. I mean, I wasn't hiding it very well, but man, letting this side of me go and realizing that this clear-headed side of me, this non-reckless side of me that's not just trying to escape everything, I've become more attractive to my wife. I've become more attractive to my kids in terms of they're like, I'm not grumpy anymore. I'm present with them. I can wake up in the morning earlier than my wife all of a sudden. This energy, this entrepreneurial energy that I had from the start, that I buried down deep, it's still there. And I cried driving past my house, and I live right next to it, but I can't look at it. I don't go in it. I don't circle the neighborhood. I never even try to think about it. But I circled the neighborhood, man. I drove around it, and I looked, and I remembered my daughter, my first child, running around, and I remember how angry I was at the world, how ungrateful I was at, my life. And, it's just, I don't regret a thing in terms of where I am. I am so beyond happy now, and I would never change it for the world. But what I would change is what I tried to hide, what I was running away from that whole time, and it was myself, I was angry. Yeah. But the love of my life, Caitlin Vargas, my wife, she is here today, and she was always waiting for me. That never would have changed. But what I could have done differently in my life, I could have been a lot less angry about it, and I could have made a lot less mistakes in terms of the way that I had to get to this new life. I didn't have to do all the things I did the way I did them. And I think this was the first time I realized how present I'd been with my children and how present I'd been with my wife. And I was like, damn, Alex, 10 years you've been fighting this. 10 years you've been waging war against this life that you're blessed to have. Just put it down. And I put it down. And life's been good, man. Past 7 days, I've gone viral. If you've kept up with me on TikTok, I'm up to almost 3,000 followers. Started from nothing. Had about probably close. I was scratching and clawing from 0 to 1,500. I only have about all my Facebook friends and connections throughout my life. Probably 600 on Instagram, and I'm at 3,000 on TikTok now. It was pretty awesome. I got to admit. I'm gonna read off a couple people that got me famous. One, Alex Earl from Dancing with the Stars, health and wellness TikToker. Second, Marciano, who got involved with me. He liked one of my posts about the Mormon wives. He's from Vanderpump Villa. My all-time high, the dopamine hit of the century. I watched this show growing up as a little boy. I loved Jersey Shore. Me and my friends, Ryan, Joel, Kevin, and Tyler, we would always have Jersey days down at the beach in North Carolina. We wore tank tops. We called ourselves Guidos. I was Ronnie. We called, Kevin was Mike and Joel was, Vinny. We all characters for all of us. We loved the Jersey Shore so much. Guess who liked my post? Guess who liked my post that I made about Alex Earl? Snooki! Snookers herself, the MTV Jersey Shore queen, liked my post. She knows I exist. I was so proud of this video I made of Alex Earl. It was this Titanic video of her, looking back in 100 years, dancing with Val Chemikowski or whatever his name is. And I was just really, this was a moment where you can come across the screen now. This world is so small. If you go viral and make a post that connects with people, I'm hitting celebrity level fame in terms of TikTok. I'm able to reach these stars that have been famous for decades. I mean, who doesn't know Snooki, like the Snooki? And she knows I exist, and she probably smiled and laughed at my content. This other guy, Spencer Pratt, he's from The Hills on MTV, also reposted it. I don't know who this guy is, but I've had 7 million people view my TikTok over the past 7 days. 7 million people have interacted with my posts alone. I have had, I think it was 9 million profile views or something like that. It was crazy though. And this is 1 week. So I gained about a little over 1,500 followers, I think. And yeah. One of my posts that was almost at 4 million views and likes got taken down by Alex Earl. So if you are listening to this, fuck you. No, just kidding. I like you, Alex. I don't know you, but now I really don't like you, to be honest. And I want my 4 million views, my 200,000 likes back. I wasn't actually saying you had an affair. I guess I was saying it, but it was like a hot take video I made about this girl, Alex Earl, having an affair, and she got it taken down and for bullying and harassment. It was everybody thought it was funny. Nobody thought it was that serious. Obviously you're not having an affair. Now I think you're having an affair. So I really hope she gets voted off with Dancing with the Stars and doesn't win the finale. Even though she was my favorite, I really don't like that, And that was my first taste of a big content creator coming down to eat a small content creator. It was not nice. She's a nasty woman. Nasty woman. But yeah. So that was my week of virality. Definitely growing on my TikTok. And, I found this thing, right? So if you think of TikTok like Blockbuster, it's got little genres. I realized that I was trying to become a blockbuster within a blockbuster. Do you get me? Basically, what I'm trying to tell you guys is my page wasn't niche. So I made my page just hot takes, receipts, reactions, and, and realness. So when people come to my page, they know it's hot takes. They know it's pop culture. So I said to myself, you know what? I've been looking at this all wrong, Alex. You are not just a movie director on one genre. You're an executive producer who can spot a moment because guess what, motherfuckers? I have 7 videos over 1 or 2 million views, all in different genres. I have ASMR with jellyfish squishing. I have a Game of Thrones meme edit. I have Alex Earl hot takes. I have memes with Titanic. I have Mormon wives. I can make viral hits in any department I want. So you know what I told myself? And I've been doing TikTok for under a year. I say, you know what? I'm going to make 4 different accounts on what I love to do, and I'm only going to post that type of content in that profile. So when people go to my page, there's no confusion. So I made one content about movie reviews because all I do is watch movies. So every day I'm going to start doing a movie review on there, posting 8 to 7 TikToks a day on that one. And it's just a minute long each, so it really doesn't take me that much time. The other one I'm doing how to go viral because I can go viral. So I'm keeping it simple. 1 minute on how to go viral, part 7. You must do X, Y, and Z. Day 7 of going viral, part 7, 2, and 3. So if you want to know how to go viral, I'll teach you. If you want to know how to gain 100,000 followers, I don't know. I can't teach you that because I'm not there yet. So we're keeping it simple, but I think I have figured out TikTok. I'm going to report back to you guys in 6 months. All right. Recap on my life. We already covered that. Movie reviews. I saw The Predator. With the Predator movie, new Predator movie called Predator Badlands, it was sentimental because me and my dad used to go see this. He showed me all the Predator movies, all the Alien movies, all the Rambo movies. And like, if I ever have a son, can't wait to do the same thing with him. Like Wayne, my other dad, he was kind of like my sports dad. Like, he would like kind of teach me how to be in the woods and like go mountain biking and be fearless and do this and that. My dad was so like cool with like letting me go to R-rated movies with him. And, we got to go out to Ruby Tuesday. Like they both had 2 different skill sets, right? But my dad, he took me to see Predator. And so when I'm watching Predator, I'm like, damn, like it's about the Predator's dad and the Predator and a family that he had to choose his own family at some point because his first family didn't want him. And the movie was so good because I remember sneaking into the theater with my dad. I remember me and my dad used to go sneak into movies. We'd see like 2 or 3 at a time. And my hands would be sweating. I'd be so nervous. I'd be like, Dad, are we allowed to see this? I think I'm not allowed to be in this movie. So it's fine. Come on. And we'd see Alien vs. Predator or something. It was awesome. I think my mom actually took me to see Alien vs. Predator 2 for a birthday party once with like Ryan and Joel and Kevin. Anyway, I also showed, I got to watch movies, and I used to think it was only my dad who let me watch inappropriate movies young. Mom, you're guilty too. You want to know which movie that you let me watch way too young? You want to know how I figured it out? Because Memoirs of a Geisha came out in 2004. I was born in 1994. That means I was 10 years old watching this movie about a Japanese prostitute who was selling her virginity. So, Dad, you can give Mom a little shit because you weren't the only one to take me to inappropriate movies. Mom took me to see Memoirs of a Geisha when I was far too young to see it. Probably saw Borat too young too, but that's a story for a different day. But Memoirs of a Geisha? I'm going to go on a little movie review about Memoirs of a Geisha. 5 out of 5. This was one of the best movies I've ever seen. And I remember it growing up, and it really grossed me out because they talked about sex and how, like, you must the eel in your cave. And I was like, ew, that's gross. What does that even mean? And it's about this girl who gets sold to a brothel, basically. And she has to work there until she comes of age to become a, like an escort of sorts. These aren't common street whores, but they are escorts. And she works there for a while because her dad's like a poor fisherman. He's like, there's no life for you here. Sells her to this guy who ends up selling her to this whorehouse. Anyway, long story short, this girl only knows pain. Her whole life, she was sold. She was separated from her sister. She was split up at birth, and she was forced to work as a slave. And she had this older girl uh, Mama Yoto or whatever her name was, who was really mean to her and always got her in trouble. She was making her do things to get back at this lady. I mean, all these poor girls were forced into this prostitution ring, basically, back then in the feudal system, right before World War II. And they were called geishas. To be a geisha was to be basically an Italian, like a gumad. They were like the second wives for the Japanese men of high class, so high society, the chairmen, generals. They would take these geishas who were like their night wives. And so this girl, she sees nothing but suffering until she's like 13, 14. And it really opened my eyes to daddy issues, because this guy comes